Here on the Central Coast. I'm Rex Stevens. We meet each and every Wednesday here at 6 o'clock from 6 to 7. We talk everything health and fitness. Normally joined by the Olympian Paul Tarek. We're still wondering where that guy left to. We lost him about 3 weeks ago, hoping he'll come back. Adam Melhuse, again, catcher and scout for the Chicago Cubs, now retired catcher from the Major Leagues, filled in nicely last week as always. Fortunate to have these guys sticking around and staying with us. You just heard from Luke Lamas talking FCA All-Star Football Classic. I got him to hang around, and we brought in Elias Stokes, redshirt freshman out of Cal Poly, played in this All-Star Classic a couple years ago. Thanks, guys, for joining me here in studio.
Rex, thanks for having us.
Hey, yeah, good stuff as always. Luke, I'll just let you go first here. Just give, again, quick details for those who may have just missed it. On the bite. We just had you got in just 20 minutes ago. Give the details really quick on how people can attend this game, the history in the game. Again, third annual classic happening this Saturday, June 1st down in Lompoc.
Yeah, so it's our third annual game. It's going to be at Lompoc High School. 7 o'clock p.m. is the start of the game, and it's a $10 game ticket. We'd love to have you come out and participate. We got all the first-team All-League seniors from the two counties, Santa Barbara County and SLO County schools that are participating in the game, and should be a great showing there at the school.
Hey, Luke, well, one thing that we talk about on Living the Run a lot is how do you to look at every aspects of health and fitness. Certainly, we focus a lot on nutrition. We talk a lot about exercise. Ryan Joyner going to join us just a little bit in studio. He joins us every week. We're going to have him in studio tonight from Athlon Elite, often talking some of the different physical aspects of musculoskeletal system, et cetera. Such a huge aspect for athletes, and we'll talk to Elias about this in a little bit as well, is the mental aspect of things, the spiritual aspect of being out on the field, the camaraderie with other guys, the team aspect, times during the season when you might be down, times when things are a little rough. Talk a little bit about, real quick, the mission of FCA, what you guys are doing around this community, not just for the All-Star Classic, but for kids in the high schools and in all sports, not just football.
Yeah, FCA is a faith-based organization, started many years ago and has been around for a really long time and all across the country. Has the formal vision statement of seeing the world impacted for Jesus Christ through the influence of coaches and athletes as a Christian organization. But really working with athletes, we recognize that they've been given different gifts and abilities, and they can use those well, or they can kind of squander them. I know for myself as an athlete, there was times when I didn't really maybe appreciate the abilities that I've been given, and later came to realize this is something that I wanted to steward well. And like you said, there's a physical component of sport. There's also the emotional or mental component, deals with our motivation and so on. And then that spiritual component of stewardship. How am I using this? How where's the attention, the recognition go? Is it just about self-recognition or glory or whatnot, or recognizing the Lord and things like that for a Christian athlete? And so yeah, those different aspects of physical, the spiritual, the emotional are all in part of make up a holistic athlete, and we try to encourage all those areas with the athletes we work with.
Yeah, awesome program, no question. Elias, maybe you can touch on this a little bit. Elias Stokes joining us again. Redshirt freshman due to an injury, so the ups and downs of health as an athlete. Sometimes mentally harder to be off the field than it is to be playing on the field, coming back from a hip surgery. Again, thanks for joining us. Talk a little bit about what FCA meant to you in high school, and then we'll talk a little bit about playing in that game.
Oh, yeah, for sure. In high school, we went through the ups and downs, definitely. We had good times and bad times, and FCA was definitely there just as a spiritual consistency. They're always going to be there. You got to have set guidelines, and they're always there through Christ, and you definitely have to keep your mental edge throughout playing a sport. Be consistent about. Doesn't matter if you're winning 10 games or you have that 5-game losing streak. You just got to be mentally right, and that's definitely what they're there for.
Hey, yeah, no question. I mean, when you talk about becoming a better athlete, we often talk about the rituals, doing the same fundamentals, doing the same things over and over again. Clearly, we got to do that on the mental side of the ball, too, the spiritual side. What was that setup? How often were you guys meeting in FCA? What was the consistency there? Week to week? One of those things in between games, you could get that spiritual recharge?
Yeah, for sure. We would meet I believe it was every Tuesday or every Thursday, consistently at lunch. We would have there, and we'd have a set event and place where we'd go in Mr. Drake's room, and everyone would meet there. We'd have lunch. We would talk about the Bible and talk about what we were trying to accomplish that week. And it was definitely, you got to get into that routine, from putting on your jersey, you got to have that spiritual guidance with you as well.
Yeah, it's brilliant stuff. Again, talking to Elias Stokes, redshirt freshman for Cal Poly, as well as Luke Lomison here. We're talking third annual FCA All-Star Football Classic happening down in Lompoc, June 1st, this Saturday night. Talk about the game. As a football senior, I remember this back. There's the you finish the season, and it's one of those things. There's goods and bads. I know for me, I was looking forward to playing basketball. That was one thing, but you knew you're going to miss playing football again. Here's another opportunity for those seniors that maybe aren't going to be playing college football to get one more shot at playing. Talk about just anticipating that game, being able to throw the pads on again in June. Different time than you're usually wearing pads.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a little bit different. Going out there end of the year when you're going through graduation and stuff. Everything's so exciting. But from the fall, you have your routine. You're going in there and you're putting on the pads, and then you come back, and then your season's over, and you're just like, wow, it's finally over. I got nothing left. And then you go to your next sport, whether it's football, baseball. And I remember I got hurt in baseball. I broke my hand. It was definitely a downward year I was going on. And the FCA All-Star game was definitely just there. And it brought up my senior year. It definitely put that bow on the package of my whole high school career. And it definitely was like something to end strong on. Definitely no matter if you're with a losing record or a winning record or anything like that. It was really awesome to be able to end on a good note.
Hey, exciting stuff. I know exciting for the guys. Luke, want to touch on this as we close. Napoleon Kaufman going to be there for the pregame meal, going to give a spiel. What's he going to say?
You know what? Napoleon will come back and share some of his stories. I remember him talking about how he would kind of cut practice and different stuff, and talked about how Coach Dick Barrett down there would always come over to his house and knock on his window and make sure that he got up and made it to the practice. Made it to practice. He said, would always say, "I'm not going to let you fail. I'm not going to let you fail." And we talk about in FCA the influence of a coach. The influence that they have in these athletes' lives is kind of a mentor and the positive impact they can have. And Napoleon will probably talk about his faith journey. He ended up leaving the NFL kind of in his prime with a calling from the Lord to go and be a pastor, and he's been faithful to that since then. And so that's an important part of his life and his journey as an athlete and as a Christian. And he'll share a little bit about that story with these athletes and encourage them to think seriously about their journey and where they're at as they prepare and anticipate the next season that's ahead for them as they go off to college.
Hey, in closing, give the details again on the game, and give the details on the raffle too. You guys giving away a car, huh?
Yeah, we give away a voucher to a new car. We have the different participating dealerships that help make this fundraiser possible for the schools, and we'll spin a wheel, and whichever dealership it lands on, whoever's ticket is pulled, will get the opportunity to go and get a new car from that dealership. And so $20 to be able to participate and support the local schools and get a chance also to win a vehicle. So the winner last year was from Rancho Grande. The first year was from Honda of Santa Maria, and we'll see who it'll be this year. Should be exciting.
Exciting stuff. Again, third annual FCA All-Star Football Classic, June 1st, this Saturday down in Lompoc. As always, our guests receive $20 gift card. This one's going to Elias Stokes. Elias, thanks for coming in to Jaffa Cafe. Luke, I bet this guy can eat one of the best Greek foods in San Luis Obispo. Get yourself a gyro, get yourself some baklava, maybe a little hummus. As always, we're thankful to Jaffa Cafe for the support. Thanks, guys, for coming in. Appreciate it. Have a great time down at the game. And, again, next year, we'll get you back in. And, hey, Luke, I was saying this. Mike Chelson listened to the interview last year. He got you in. You're getting in on 2 shows. Maybe we'll get you on the next 3 or 4 shows here coming up after tonight. We'll promote the heck out of this thing.
Sounds good.
Yeah, good stuff. Again, thanks, guys, for coming in. Coming up next year on Living the Run, Luke just mentioned coaches. We got a coach coming in, Ryan Joyner. Ryan usually joins us via phone. We're blessed to have him in studio tonight. We'll talk a little coaching. We'll talk muscles. We'll talk physiology. We'll talk all of it in between right here on ESPN 1280 The Ticket. You're listening to Living the Run.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Hey guys, Paul Tarek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, Slow Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at Slow Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, Slow Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
Folks, when it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go. Go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your haircut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff put your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
You want to get fit? And I mean really fit? Fit for fun? Fit for looking good? Fit for life? It can happen for you at Athlon Fitness and Performance in San Luis Obispo. Athlon has a 4-week fitness fast start designed to get anyone back on track and moving like a champion quickly and effectively. For a limited time, you can start Athlon's 4-week fitness fast start for only $197. That's 4 weeks of personal training, nutritional guidance, movement rehabilitation, motivation, fun, and encouragement, all for just $197. Take your body and your athleticism to a new level. Go to athlonslo.com. That's ATHLONSLO.com to learn more about the 4-week fitness fast start. It'll be the best decision you'll ever make.
We're back with Living the Run.
Welcome back to Living the Run. Rex Stevens now joined in studio. This is good stuff. You know, usually we get you on the phone. We like the phone stuff, but the in-studio stuff is more fun. It's like living room stuff with headphones on. We're kind of sitting here like we got the Bose headphones on, rapping out to whatever we are. Ryan Joyner, Athlon Elite in studio. Thanks for coming in, Ryan.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you know, we've been wanting to do this for a while. Again, we had you last year, but we got to do it more often, at least quarterly, get you in here and get a sense of rapping about what's going on. What do you think about this FCA All-Star game? You know, you sit there and you go, as a guy who played football only in high school myself, thinking about getting a chance to play one more time in June as a senior.
Yeah, they're loved. We have a few kids from Mission Prep right now training at Athlon, and the energy is just lit up because they're going on and playing, you know, at the collegiate level next year. But to have the opportunity to play one more time, you just see it in their eyes. They are walking on a cloud.
Yeah, you know, when it gets to that whole mental aspect, we were just talking about it a little bit. You know, FCA, of course, looking at the spiritual aspect of things. They come from the Christian perspective and trying to motivate people spiritually as well as physically, and you know, we look nutritionally as well for the health. But nothing more than having something on the calendar that you're anticipating and looking forward to. I mean, you think about these guys, you know, he's Elias Stokes, who was just in here, redshirt freshman from Cal Poly, a slot receiver. You know, he was talking about playing baseball, getting hurt So his baseball season kind of got ruined there in the spring. So mentally he's kind of on that downer, but you look at that calendar and you say, oh, I get to strap up the uniform one more time. It's amazing what that can do for your energy, what that can do for your vibrancy and your health.
Yep. Yeah, there's no better way to motivate than to have an event to work for, to have that goal. As I always say, the human nervous system is a target-seeking mechanism. And if you give it that target, we all know that from spiritual practice and from, mental business practice, everything is if you set the goal, your nervous system will seek it out. And so the same thing with the football, having that on the calendar, it's so motivating.
Yeah, it's just I kind of almost get goosebumps thinking about those guys getting that chance to strap it up at least one more time, especially the guys that don't get to go on to play collegiately. Yeah, from here. Well, that segues in nice. We've talked about coaching a lot. Luke talked about it a little bit. The Fellowship for Christian Athletes group, they got these, I think they call them huddle coaches on the campuses that are running some of these lunchtime festivities or morning type festivities. And really they're acting as coaches for the mental, spiritual side of things, giving guys things to focus on, trying to bring their spirits up, bring up that positivity. Clearly, that's what you're doing every day. You're in there at Athlon Elite. You're trying to get people motivated. People are sore. They got pains. They're fatigued for whatever reason. But you know that they're going to be better if they can just get that workout in with you. Talk about Athlon's role there, your role, and just some of those techniques that you've seen getting people to be successful and thankful that they actually came in that day.
Yeah, no, as a coach, that's exactly what we do, and that's what we offer at Athlon is that coaching. And I would take kind of two different directions with that question. Is one, the motivational side, motivating them to go ahead and get through it. And that comes from the relationship, as well as with the client, as well as the motivational techniques. Helping them visualize, helping them understand what they're here for and why. But then also on the other side of things is helping them get through it is from the physical side. We are coaches. We understand that if they utilize the proper hip range of motion, or if we utilize a little bit of self-myofascial release or some joint mobility stuff, that they're going to now move better. We do that all the time with foot mobility, hand and wrists, thoracic spine mobility, just getting them moving, and then we get up, assess and reassess, and we see improvement in movement. We have them do go for a walk. We see gait improvement. Okay, now you're ready to train. Do you feel better? Wow, I feel a lot better all of a sudden. Of course, we started moving the joints. The brain got happy. Brain likes joints to be moved. And so there's two sides there. There's the motivational side, and then of course there's the technical precision and teaching them to move correctly.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Again, talking to Ryan Joyner in studio from Athlon Elite here on ESPN 1280 The Ticket. You're listening to Living the Run. One of the things you kind of mentioned, I know you talk about this a lot, I talk about it a lot in our clinic, is looking at that nervous system a little bit. You just mentioned something very interesting when you talked about hands, feet, and spine. When we start to look at the map of that brain, right, you start to see more representation in areas where you have lots of joints in a small area of space. Lots of joints in the feet, bunch of bones connecting to make different, lots of bones in the hand, and of course the spine, a series of a whole bunch of bones making a lot of different connections. Talk about the difference there. I think to me, hands down, that's the difference between Athlon Elite and the other fitness studios around here. Not that other fitness studios aren't doing great things, but the focus seems to be on the nervous system appropriately stimulating neurological joints such that we get brain mapping to change, which may help with balance, stability, etc., but as well as not neglecting joint movement and those areas that may be the highest areas of stimulus. Talk a little bit about how you got in that program and really what you're doing there, because it really, is that not the difference? That's the difference of Athlon Elite.
Yeah, it's all about the nervous system, and the nervous system controls everything. And the nervous system is very plastic, and that, and to the listeners, when we say plastic, that means it's very changeable. We can change the nervous system. We always say in Athlon, we have a saying in Athlon is, how fast does change occur? And, people look at it and say, well, I've heard 4 to 6 weeks to get improvement. If I do this, we say, no, change happens at the speed of the nervous system, 300 miles an hour. And let me show you, right? And we'll do a little hand drill, a little foot drill or something, and then instantly have an improvement in a range of motion test or a strength test or something like that. So yeah, going after the nervous system is first and foremost, and that's where we spend a lot of our time. The first 15 minutes of every session, we do that. And how I got into it is, believe it or not, I have a good buddy of mine's chiropractor, and so I've learned a lot from him and realized the power of the nervous system. And then I sought out that kind of education, and and then I guess in all of my study, I realized, okay, are you built for survival or are you built for performance, right? And I used to answer that question. I'd say you're built for performance. We're built to perform. We're human beings. We're tough. But actually, you're built to survive, and that's first and foremost to your brain. And your brain says, okay, am I going to survive? And that's what the question it's always answering or trying to answer is, how safe is this really? And I realized because again, we train a lot of athletes and we're always thinking about performance, but I realized that if I improve the brain's chance of survival, performance got way better, right? And we've all heard of the stories, the urban legends of the grandmother that lifted up the car to save the baby, or the guy that pushed the boulder off of him, the 3,000-pound boulder, to survive. The brain always chooses survival over performance. So if I can do something to help the brain know that it's going to survive, such as a good visual drill that really instantly improves kind of your ability to focus, your focal point changes. And if I can do that quickly, get the brain kind of stimulated with that visual drill, I see guys all the time lay down and lift a PR. They'll do a personal best, a bench press, squat, whatever it is. In fact, now, before we do any kind of max testing, in fact, we were just working with a collegiate volleyball player, and we were doing a vertical leap assessment. We had her do a vertical leap, three sets. We did a couple drills, a couple more sets. She improved a half inch. We did a visual drill. She improved 1.5 inches over the half inch that she had just done. So an instant improvement in her vertical leap by 2.5 inches in 10 minutes.
Yeah, people don't, I don't think, quite appreciate how much the eyes give us a window into the nervous system, and how much doing eye exercises can maximize performance by changing mapping in brain, changing stimulus in brain, and in different angles too. We know certain angles are going to affect left-sided stuff more. Certain angles are going to affect right-sided stuff more. So you can start to make calculated assertions based on evaluation. Now you give somebody an eye movement thing, they're going, what the heck you doing? And they jump better. Or they come off the blocks. There was a great story on an Olympian who was having a lot of problems getting the sound to come from his ear. When the gun went off on his left side, he couldn't get a good start. But when the gun went off on his right side, no problem. Simple tweak in the nervous system, some eye movements, a couple different things. Now all of a sudden he could do it well, both sides. And again, no musculoskeletal drills. All eye movement stuff to get that thing rolling. Give a quick thing before we go to our first break. Give a quick idea to somebody, to a listener, that if they were standing at home right now, or they're going to get out of their car when they go home, something that they could test to give an assessment of nervous system function and the symmetry of it. I'll give you one. I mean, I often talk about, we talk about single leg balance, and especially single leg balance without vision. So keeping these people from being able to focus on something to get their balance, but rather using the entire musculoskeletal system to be able from foot, ankle, knee, hip, into spine, then up to brain, so that they don't fall over. And can they do it evenly right to left? Almost nobody can. That's one that we often kind of take a look at and trying to get people to be more symmetrical there. Give somebody something that they can do at home to kind of test that out.
Well, maybe to test the nervous system, a real quick, easy one is take your shoes off, stand nice and tall, and then just do a forward bend assessment. Reach for your toes. How far are you from your toes? Or if you touch the ground, how far do you touch the ground? Do it 2 or 3 times and get an idea of how you're moving. Then simply tilt your ankle like you're going to roll your ankle. Just simply tilt that heel bone all the way out and then back flat again, and do that 5 times like you're going to roll your ankle. Real gentle, roll it all the way out to the end, come all the way back. Do that 5 times, walk it off, reassess. I guarantee you'll reach probably an inch or 2 deeper. And it just shows you that the brain likes that joint mobility, and it stimulated the nervous system, which then made it take the brakes off of the hamstrings or the low back.
Loves it from the ankle and foot, especially all those bones down there. You're going to get way more stimulus. I think this is an important point, because you gave a great exercise on ankle and foot. Important point that we don't do that with the knee.
No.
Right? And we don't go necessarily do it with the hip. Less stimulus coming out of there, less bones connecting, less joint information to brain, if you will. So you use those areas that give a lot of information very, very quick.
Yeah.
That's a huge point, right? I think people miss that routinely. We go to the large motor groups, the massive muscles, and then we stretch our hamstring all day long and go, that thing doesn't get any better.
Not getting better, yeah. And in a matter of a second of doing 5 ankle tilts each side, you'll see that it gets better. Now, you need to do that regularly throughout the day to then get that plastic change to stick. But it will stick if you continue to move that joint. And it's like you said at the beginning, it's all about the real estate in the brain. The brain dedicates a lot of real estate to the feet because obviously they're pretty important for survival. And you're not going to hit a home run until the brain is comfortable with the feet. And so we start there. Or we might start at the hands, or we start at the T-spine.
I like that, survival versus performance. I always called it performance versus longevity. Same thing, right? Longevity, survival, what have you. But you make such a tremendous point. I'd like to talk about this on our return. Again, Ryan Joyner, Athlon Elite, joining us in studio, talking some good stuff here. You're not going to want to miss this because I want to talk the importance of those foot and ankle mechanics when we start to see people going to standing desks as opposed to sitting. This is where some of this gets so huge. People don't realize it. They think posture. They don't realize that the change in weighted standing is getting major signaling, or you say plasticity, getting more connections happening from ankle and foot that you are absolutely 100% missing in a sitting position.
Yep.
Good stuff. Go ahead.
And then just real quick, we talk about sitting. We can talk about the perfect storm of dysfunction when we come back.
Perfect storm dysfunction. We're also going to talk CrossFit. Grundler was in here last week, Ryan. We talked about it in the last break. Huge energy, big stuff. But we got to talk about a couple little things that are probably just a bit off before you go to a CrossFit gym. That guy's a remarkable athlete, monster of an athlete. But talking perfect storm on sedentary lifestyle. How do we get that brain to muscle connection a little bit better? Right back here on Living the Run, ESPN 1280 The Ticket. Stick with us.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Hey guys, Paul Tarek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, Slow Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at Slow Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, Slow Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
Folks, when it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go. Go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your haircut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff puts your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
You want to get fit? And I mean really fit? Fit for fun? Fit for looking good? Fit for life? It can happen for you at Athlon Fitness and Performance in San Luis Obispo. Athlon has a 4-week fitness fast start designed to get anyone back on track and moving like a champion quickly and effectively. For a limited time, you can start Athlon's 4-week fitness fast start for only $197. That's 4 weeks of personal training, nutritional guidance, movement rehabilitation, motivation, fun, and encouragement, all for just $197. Take your body and your athleticism to a new level. Go to athlonslo.com. That's ATHLONSLO.com to learn more about the 4-week fitness fast start. It'll be the best decision you'll ever make.
We're back with Living the Run.
Welcome back to Living the Run. CJ Silas on fire tonight. She's coming up next at 7 o'clock. Keith Smart going to be on the phone. Keith Smart, good Indiana player, hit that big shot in the NCAA tournament. I was talking to another Indiana University pole vaulter today, and again, Ryan Joyner in here from Athlon Elite, and we talked that coaching thing. It was so interesting to see. I've seen this girl for a long time. She was a great collegiate pole vaulter for Indiana. Then she went on, tried some pro stuff for a while, eventually retired from it. But to see the look in her eyes, she's in the CrossFit world, yeah. And she's got a coach now. But just to see the motivation that comes just from knowing you've got a coach, good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff.
Athletes, we love coaches, I mean, we learned the power of a coach a long time ago.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Before we get into some of the CrossFit craze, let's get back to what we were talking about before the break. And again, if you ever miss us, guys, or any parts of these interviews, this is good stuff. Ryan gave some good tips in that last segment on little things you can do. And in this case, he was just talking about getting more flexion out of your lumbar spine as well as releasing your hamstrings a little bit just by doing an ankle exercise. So go back on livingtherun.com tomorrow, Facebook/livingtherun. You can pick up these podcasts. These little tips are huge things. And again, I just cannot stress, I know Ryan's seen it, I see it all the time, people trying to do certain exercises and just not getting anywhere with them. Sometimes just a simple little tip can do this. Let's go to the sitting thing, because the sitting thing is the perfect storm for a lot of reasons. And I always hate a little bit to just get too tied to mechanics, because the reality is the sitting is destroying all the systems.
Yes.
Thyroid, digestion, immunity, you name it. But let's get back to the mechanics a little bit because that's where we've been. Ankle and foot mechanics, we said, are super crucial. Why? A ton of joints down there, a bunch of bones together, which means that we've got more mapping, more stimulus taking place up in the brain than, say, if we were moving a knee joint. What happens when we sit? We get nothing.
Yeah.
No stimulus. Expand on it.
Yeah, the brain, like I said, the brain's got a lot of real estate dedicated to the foot, and the brain likes information. It's survival. So if the brain, because the brain ultimately wants to predict our survival. So if it's getting sensory input from these joints because they're moving, and that's what creates sensory input, then the brain's happy. The brain realizes, okay, well, I'm getting great information down there. I'm comfortable with my survival. I can go ahead and release the bigger muscle groups, take the brakes off the bigger muscle groups. And again, that's a lay person's way of talking about it, but ultimately it's all about that feedback to the brain. The brain's getting the stimulus. The brain likes it from a survival perspective. And so if you're sitting or you're not moving the ankles, or you're wearing these super constrictive, high arch, beefy shoes that aren't letting the bones of the foot move, the brain's not getting that feedback. It's not getting that stimulus from those bones moving down there because they're held so tight from a shoe. And then without, so then it becomes less comfortable with predicting its survival because it's getting less sensory input from the foot. Yeah,
no question whatsoever on that. And, I look at the as you say, survival and we talk longevity there. You see these Vibrams out there, and so many times the talk around the Vibrams or some of these midfoot striking shoes, and et cetera, is all about mechanics. We lose the idea that, hey, guys, the reason these things are working primarily is because you're getting more joint mobility, more joint motion. For some reason, I think it's harder, Ryan. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems like it's harder for people to embrace that with shoes. It wasn't that complicated to embrace it with, the back braces. Remember, everybody used to wear back braces all day long, and then they realized the back injuries were going up because they were weakening the back so much because it wasn't being used. I can't figure out why we don't embrace it quite as quickly in the feet. I mean, still, there's so much reservation to these shoes and going to the barefoot type thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of momentum, and I probably starts because we start putting shoes on when we're 1 year old, 2 years old, and it's something that's ingrained in our society, our culture is a good shoe. It's a good shoe. My grandparents said you gotta have good shoes. Make sure those are good boots. And again, from their perspective, we're looking for support because support felt good in the short run, but in the long run, you're getting a decrease in sensory feedback from the foot. And so in the long run, you're making the brain less comfortable with its survival because, again, less stimulus.
Yeah, no question. Hey, let's switch gears here again. Again, Ryan Joyner from Athlon Elite joining us in studio. I know we get him each week on the phone, but fun to have him in studio. Fun last week to have Bill Grundler in from CrossFit. Good stuff, good energy stuff. But let's just get right down to it because you hit it right on the head. Performance versus survival, performance versus longevity. CrossFit's all about performance.
Yes. Yep. And those guys are amazing. I mean, those guys are performing, amazing feats of performance. And I did it, and I wouldn't take anything away from anybody. I did CrossFit. It was back in 2004. I found it. I found it online and started just really following it and fell in love with it because it did bring back something, as Dan John says, circuit training from the 70s with attitude is CrossFit. And
I like that. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah,
that's good.
Because it was cool. It brought back some of the functional movements, the barbell, and it really empowered that. Because even in 2004, the health club industry was still really pushing towards the machines and the non-functional movement, et cetera, et cetera. And so in that sense, it was very empowered. But it is all about performance. And when you put a stopwatch on somebody, a lot of times they're more concerned about that stopwatch than they are maybe necessarily about the survival aspects of joint mobility, of proper joint mobility or proper joint position, et cetera.
Yeah, I appreciated Bill. He did it. It's such an awesome job of trying to defend the aspect of longevity and kind of survival and saying, hey, there's a little aspect of both. But the reality is those guys are elite athletes. They're performing at a ridiculously high level. And when you start to get to some of those weights and things that those guys are using, the pace that they're going at, we get into something. We had a guy on, Dan Murphy, came on, a doc up in the Bay Area. I think he's from Pleasanton. But anyway, I don't know, somewhere up north. But anyway, he talked a lot about oxidative stress, right? Production of free radicals, things that we've seen where you can start to push the body to a limit where exercise now becomes more deleterious than it is positive. That being said, when you have a performance goal, you're trying to win a competition, you don't care.
Yeah. No.
And that's why it's performance. And I think that he was a classic example of that. But we have to remember that free radical production really is the most fundamental concept when it comes to aging. Yep. It's a simple thing. Dr. Lester, I believe, wrote that book, The Antioxidant Miracle. Russell Blaylock, top neurosurgeon, wrote a couple of great books dedicating chapters just to free radical production. But where we see it in a tremendous rate is in exercise. And the reason why, right, is where do we produce the most free radicals? It comes from breathing.
Breathing, exactly. Yeah.
Breathing. So if you accelerate your rate of breathing at too high of a level, you just can't keep up with the antioxidant production, both internally or your endogenous antioxidants they talk about, or the exogenous ones, the ones coming from the diet. And I thought it was clear. I love Bill. I mean, he got a ton of energy, phenomenal athlete. But I thought it was worth coming back to it and saying, hey, when you're looking at training people, you need to answer that question. Are you trying to win a competition?
Yep.
Or are you trying to make yourself age more appropriately?
And more fit. And again, well, I guess it depends on your definition of fitness. And again, if your definition of fitness is performance, Well, then of course we're going to train you for performance, and we're going to look at some of those things, and we're probably going to ignore oxidative stress, and we're going to ignore a few of those things because we're shooting for some numbers, or we're shooting for, or like in the case of our athletes, they're either going for that scholarship, or they have the scholarship that they have to maintain the scholarship, or they are collecting a paycheck based on their performance, and so the oxidative stress kind of comes later. Yeah.
It comes later after, 10 years down the road, go, wow, why was I training like that?
But yeah.
Why was I doing walking front lunges with 205 pounds? You just why did I do 170 burpees in 10 minutes? I mean, the stuff those guys do is really fantastic. It's elite stuff.
It's incredible. And then, they've built a tolerance to that kind of stuff from years and years of training. And so again, their body's going to be a little more tolerant of it. And sometimes, the beginner ought to be doing that quite yet, not without a little different mindset.
Yeah, and without a good coach. Again, Grundler stuff at Inferno here, CrossFit Inferno. If you're in for competition, you just moved to the area and you're a CrossFitter, go check these guys out. You got some elite competition there for sure. What's going on here at Athlon Elite? Hey, tell me about the push-ups. How did the push-up thing go? 90 seconds. Guys, we're raising some money. Talk about the success of that event.
Yeah, it was great. We raised almost $7,000 in 90 seconds, and so it's pretty cool. We had a little promotional video that said, "What can you do in 90 seconds?" And well, I can raise $7,000 in 90 seconds for our wounded veterans. So it's a really, really cool thing. We had a lot of fun. We had the news media were out. They were filming people doing push-ups. We had about 36 people knocking out push-ups. We went in 3 different heats of 10, and a little more than 10. And then, our number one female did 64 push-ups, and these were we actually set markers, so they had to come all the way down, touch the chest, and then all the way up to full lockout. She did 64 in 90 seconds.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and our top male did 82. And we pose it as a competition, but if you were there, it's tons of fun, camaraderie. Everybody's cheering on everybody, and then we had great raffle prizes donated by some of the best businesses and restaurants and hotels in the area. So it was awesome.
Hey, what's going on this summer, Athlon Elite? Tell us some of the programs you got going.
Yeah, well, the summer, youth athletes is always a big one, and so we're doing the various conditioning programs for youth. And again, when I say conditioning, it's athletic programs. So they're doing speed, power, accuracy, balance, coordination. They're learning linear running mechanics. They're learning footwork drills, agility drills, and then of course strength. We're doing barbell strength, and we're doing the dumbbells and all that good stuff, and teaching them all these movements that one's beneficial from a good strength perspective, and then of course number 2 is the stuff that they're going to be doing in high school and they're going to be doing in college and everything else. And so youth sports programs, those are 3 days a week, and then of course we have during June we're promoting the big Father's Day golf fitness and conditioning program. So we have a great golf fitness and conditioning program where again we're doing a lot of this stuff, this joint mobility, foot, back, elbows, shoulders, thoracic spine, neck, just again range of motion, and teaching these guys how to use that stuff, and then of course adding some strength and power to it so they get a little pop on the ball and hit the ball better.
Ryan Joyner gave us a tip for a lower body exercise when we return here on Living the Run here on ESPN 1280 Ticket. We're going to ask him for a tip for an upper body exercise, something simple that you can do, stimulate that nervous system on a high level, something you can do at home, don't need a bunch of equipment, and see instantaneous results. Stick with us here. Last segment, tips and takeaways coming in after that as well, right here on ESPN 1280 Ticket. You're listening to Living the Run.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Hey guys, Paul Tarek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, Slow Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at Slow Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, Slow Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
Folks, when it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go. Go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your haircut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff put your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
You want to get fit? And I mean really fit? Fit for fun? Fit for looking good? Fit for life? It can happen for you at Athlon Fitness and Performance in San Luis Obispo. Athlon has a 4-week fitness fast start designed to get anyone back on track and moving like a champion quickly and effectively. For a limited time, you can start Athlon's 4-week fitness fast start for only $197. That's 4 weeks of personal training, nutritional guidance, movement rehabilitation, motivation, fun, and encouragement, all for just $197. Take your body and your athleticism to a new level. Go to athlonslo.com. That's ATHLONSLO.com to learn more about the 4-week fitness fast start. It'll be the best decision you'll ever make.
We're back with Living the Run.
Well, this show does run pretty quick, doesn't it, Ryan?
Yeah.
Ryan gets to see firsthand. You know, you sit in this studio, Paul and I, even Adam too, you know, we often say, geez, sometimes I think we need that 2 hours, but not, not going to happen. Coming up next, 7 o'clock, as always, the CJ Silas Show. She has Keith Smart coming on. Hit that big shot for Indiana. So great interview, as always. And then don't forget the Slow Late Show coming on at 10 o'clock. After that, go ahead.
I said maybe that just is saying that we like to talk too much.
We like to hear ourselves talk. You know, it's one of those things. You know, you put these headphones on, you get the microphone going. It's a little different, and
talking about things you love, like training and conditioning, and no
question.
Fitness.
Yeah, nervous system stuff. We talked. For those of you that missed any of these interviews, we've been talking nervous system, how to get that brain to fire back down to that musculoskeletal system. If you missed any of the interviews, Ryan's got some great stuff. He gave us a tip for the lower extremity. He said, bend forward to touch your toes. He gave you an ankle exercise, so go back and listen to that tomorrow. Then test that hamstring again and that lower back to see if you can flex further. We said that we were going to get an upper body exercise too. I like this, a pencil push-up. Let the listeners know what in the world a pencil push-up is.
So this one will blow your mind. And the visual, as you know, the power of the visual system, the vision is very powerful from the brain's perspective. And so you can really improve strength, flexibility, all the above by just stimulating the visual system. So a pencil push-up, take and hold a pencil with the sharpened end up out in front of you, and you're going to bring it to your nose slowly, keeping your eyes on it, right? And so as it gets closer, you're going to end up being cross-eyed, and you're going to try to follow it as close to your nose as you can follow it until it doubles. And when it doubles, follow it back out. And you can do that for 5 reps. Now, most people on average can get it about an inch from their nose when it doubles. Our athletes they'll set it right on the nose and it won't double. Now it might get blurry, but it's not doubling, right? So it's just the focal point. So what you want you to do is do a set of push-ups. Do 10 push-ups. Drop down, knock out 10 push-ups, and then rate it. How hard was that on a 1 to 10 scale? It felt like a 6. All right, now do your 5 pencil push-ups. Bring that in slowly, close as you can till it doubles. Take it back out 5 times. Walk it off, get back down and do 10 more push-ups, and then rate it again. And I guarantee it'll be 3 notches easier after doing the visual drill.
This isn't probably the show for it, but it's so fun when you figure out why that works.
Yeah.
And you get back into some of those kind of neurological principles. It is super, super great. Again, working some of the core system of your body through basic eye movements.
Yeah.
Again, I appreciate this interview a lot with you, Ryan, because you've hit on a couple of big things. You hit on finding those joints that are most powerful to our nervous system. So spending more time with those. We focused a little bit on the feet and the ankles. You talked about how you can make changes in the musculoskeletal system with vision without even doing a stretch, without even doing – just do a couple visual exercises, make some change. This is good stuff. We always talk on this show tips and takeaways for the show, something that the listeners can take away. Talk about a key point, something that you want to reemphasize for our listeners today.
Yeah, I'd say based on the things we talked about, right now the emphasis in flexibility and mobility, people are getting it, because it's being pushed. You got to work on your flexibility. You got to stay mobile and flexible. And everybody still thinks muscles. But we've talked about it tonight. The power of the joint is far more important than the muscle. And if you mobilize the joints, you will get more out of the muscles because it's all the whole survival versus performance. And so when you're going to the gym and you're thinking, stretch the hamstrings, well, just try rolling your ankles in circles. Try doing the alphabet with your foot, and then try doing the same with your hands, and then try doing it with your thoracic spine, your T-spine, just moving around your spine and then extend your spine. Move the joints more than the muscles, and you'll get better flexibility.
Yeah, no question. And again, people ask that question all the time. Why do muscles spasm? They spasm simply because the joint is being stressed. It's not moving the way it wants to move. It's giving the signals to brain, hey, I'm going to be in trouble if we don't fix this pretty quick. Change the joint, change the muscles. I love that tip. I'm going to just say, figure out whether you want performance or survivability. When you go in and you find a coach like yourself, Ryan, or any coach that's out there, find out what you want for your goal. Because as soon as you can define that goal, that I want longevity, I want survivability, I want to reduce oxidative stress, that's the kind of exercise I want, the program's easy to set up. If you're looking for performance, you're looking to compete, do that. But I think oftentimes we get confused along the way. And then people doing a little bit of both, and they're not getting those results. So, Ryan, thanks so much for joining us. As always, Ryan Joyner at Athlon Elite, athlonelite.com. Again, to my other guests, Luke Lamas and Elias Stokes from FCA. Don't forget that game this weekend, guys, down in Lompoc, the 3rd annual FCA All-Star Football Classic. As we say always on this show, live healthy, live bold, come live the run. CJ Silas Show next.